So obviously last night was the Jake Paul against Mike Tyson fight. And I have to be honest, it was actually worse than I expected. I was not a fan of this fight when it first got announced. And I think watching it was even worse. I thought it was just a very, very sad thing to see. You're talking about Mike Tyson, a former legend of boxing. I know that word gets thrown around a lot nowadays, but Mike Tyson is a true legend of boxing and one of the biggest legends ever in the sport. And I think the only reason this fight was big is because he still does have that aura. So I think it was very sad to see that basically after one round, there was nothing left. And of course, I mean, look, you're not expecting to see anything at 58 years old. But I just saw a guy that was just obviously a shell of himself. After one round, he was knackered. And he got back to that corner and I saw a guy in pain. I got to give him a lot of credit. He showed immense heart to get to the end. But I thought it was a very, very sad sight. His legs were completely gone. And I think you just saw a guy struggling. And this is my issue with this fight in general is because, you know, what would have really happened if he got knocked out? I think the Texas Commission is just a disgrace. You know, a commission is in place to protect fighters. And you've got a guy that's had massive health scares, 58 years of age, and he's not even necessarily the most healthy guy, Mike Tyson. So at 58 years of age, he's a massive health risk. And we're watching a legend in Mike Tyson potentially, you know, risk his life out there. I don't understand it. And if Jake Paul was to knock him out, what does that mean? As for Jake Paul, I think he's a disgrace. I don't like anything about him. I think he fights MMA fighters that are old and retired most of the time. And then he fights an old legend who, if that old legend was 20 years younger, he would have, the fight wouldn't have even gone 30 seconds. I only watched about 4 rounds of the fight and then I couldn't really watch any more. But I'm just really happy that it's now over and you know, Mike Tyson is in decent health. And he didn't get knocked out because that would have been very, very sad to see. I already thought the fight, you know, it was just, I was sad watching that fight. And I'm sure a lot of the boxing community feels the exact same. As for Jake Paul, this is not a guy I have any respect for. I think what he's doing is he's taking advantage of these old fighters. He's really living off of their name. And none of these fights are competitive. So if you really want to prove yourself in boxing, which you have not done yet because when you did fight a professional boxer, you got beat. Fight some professional boxers. Fight some guys your age, of similar skill, and let's see what you're about. But you don't do that. And the reason you don't do that is because I think you know what would happen. You would get beat and the money would stop. I mean, look, the positives, I suppose, about this fight is at least Mike Tyson got paid and he got out that ring healthy. As for Jake Paul, I will never watch this guy. I will never watch this guy if he fights an MMA fighter again. And no commission should ever sanction this guy to fight an old legend ever again. It's a disgrace. What would the fans have done if Jake Paul knocked out Mike Tyson? Would they have celebrated? Would they have sat there ringside and said, Jake Paul's a great fighter? Would they have said, I want to see him fight this guy or that guy? The fight was completely pointless other than a cash grab. That's really all it was. The other fight on the card, the big fight on the card was obviously Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano. I've seen a few people's opinions and I'm someone that's watched boxing for a long time. I think Amanda Serrano was robbed. And I think she was robbed quite clearly, to be honest with you. In a 10-round fight, Amanda Serrano outlanded Katie Taylor in 9 of 10 rounds. She outlanded her by over 100 punches. Not just that, Amanda Serrano sustained one of the worst eye injuries that I've seen, especially in female boxing, because of consistent and constant headbutts from Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor is one of the dirtiest fighters that I've ever seen. Now, I think a lot of people were complaining about the point that the referee took off Katie Taylor because he took that point off when nothing really happened. But that should not confuse you from the fact that consistently and constantly, Katie Taylor was leaning in with her head. She was rushing in with her head. Even when Amanda Serrano got the eye injury, It looked like it was an intentional thing for Katie Taylor to lean in with the head. It was the constant headbutts. And this happens almost in every single Katie Taylor fight where the opponent is getting serious damage because Katie Taylor, she's just dirty. She holds constantly and she goes in with the head. So I think that, the fight could have been stopped in round 6 or 7 because the eye injury was that bad. Amanda Serrano obviously continues the fight because she's a warrior. Then Katie Taylor started to land more punches really because Amanda Serrano couldn't see. But then the judges punish Amanda Serrano for fighting on. I just don't understand that. There was only ever one winner in that fight. And the consistent headbutts from Katie Taylor, she should have got more points taken off. And in my opinion, I think she should have been disqualified. Because these tactics, anyone can win a fight if you're headbutting your opponent and causing them, serious vision damage. So I thought Amanda Serrano won the fight. I thought she won it quite clearly. And now she's got 2 losses over Katie Taylor where I feel like she won both times. So yeah, those are my thoughts obviously on the 2 big fights yesterday. Like I said, I'm very happy that Mike Tyson got out that ring healthy. I think that was the most important thing. It was very difficult for me to watch at times. So, great to see him get out the ring healthy. He's a warrior and a legend of boxing. And as for Jake Paul, you will earn more respect from the boxing community and the community in general when you actually fight guys your age, your size, and professional boxers.